What do you find helps a junior candidate stand out from the crowd? What would you recommend that they should do to, I guess, because it's very crowded field, it's getting more and more crowded in general. What do you think they should do to make themselves stand out from the crowd and just like to get a job, the first job that is?
Yes, no, that's a good question. I think, yeah, yes, I think when folks are hiring, they typically are looking for either the more senior experienced folks or the junior folks. I think the junior folks, what folks have to do is really to show potential, and show your ability to learn. And some of this is, how I put some of these, like whatever credentials you can provide is always helpful. So if you've taken like excuse me, if you've taken like a course or gone through a program, whatever the case might be, being able to surface that, okay, you have the knowledge, you have the education, right? That's one part of the equation, is saying, okay, I took this courses, so I took this program, so I understand what data science is about. And then the other piece is sort of like, what can you do or what have you done? And I think it's helpful to show that what you can do, whether it's through projects and either course projects or sort of volunteer projects and all that stuff that you've done. So I think having those two on your resume, for example, sort of begins to create the opportunity. I think the biggest thing though comes to if you're able to get past the resume step in the interview. Like I said, at least when I think of hiring, and in most companies when we think about hiring, we're looking for multiple things, right? We're looking for, can this person do the job? And different companies value potential in different ways, but we're trying to answer, can this person do the job? And that question can be answered both by, does this person have the training and the context? Do they have the knowledge? And then do they have the ability? Have they demonstrated the ability? Or do they have the potential there? And so prepping for interviews and all that stuff. But the other piece I would say is sort of what people call soft skills, is now things about critical thinking, things about, oh, is this somebody I want to work with, kind of deal, right? How are you as a human being? But also in many interviews, you'll be faced with, there will be a technical portion, and that sort of table stakes. Almost everybody either knows that or they don't know that. It's sort of like a binary. But the more interesting one is being able to show how you can think and how you can approach a problem. And the best way to, at least in my experience, what's worked for me in being able to answer that is actually being in the experience. So if I'm doing a project, right, it's one thing to complete the project, and it's one thing to have that on my resume, and that's all valuable. But what's also interesting is, how did I approach a problem? How do I think about the problem? What are all the alternatives, right? And how do I apply that to a different set of problems? In many cases, interviews would be like, tell me about a time when, or how did you solve this, and all of that stuff. And so when you think about problems, whether it's project you've done or what you're taking in school, it's not so much about knowing the right answer per se, but it's about showing, how can I take this and apply this to a multitude of problems. So in a sense, I would say it's sort of like knowledge, experience, but then the critical thinking part, and then just be a decent person there.